Good afternoon and welcome to the Oilers TV live pregame show. I'm your host, Tony Barr. Thank you for making us a part of your Wednesday. It's Wednesday night hockey on Sportsnet, a national broadcast and an 8 p.m. puck drop between the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames, who clash for the sixth time this season, round number 6 of 10 this season. Right now, the Oilers currently lead the season series 3-2, but it was Calgary coming off a 4-3 victory just 2 nights ago. The Oilers still looking for the first win of this road trip. Of course, they ended their 7-game homestand last week with 4 consecutive victories, but have dropped back-to-back 1-goal games. For the first one in Vancouver on Saturday, the second down Highway 2 in Calgary on Monday. But again, they do have an opportunity to bounce back. Now, there are certainly a lot of lineup questions heading into tonight with the availability of some players. Head coach Dave Tippett necessarily not tipping his cap either way in saying which players would be available. Those are some things that they would have to evaluate after their optional skate. So we did talk to head coach Dave Tippett, Connor McDavid, and goaltender Mike Smith, who will get the start once again for the Oilers. He was good on Monday, but a few bad bounces, particularly the one where the puck misses his stick as he was caught in no man's land near the trapezoid and then ended up in the back of the net. So he has an opportunity to kind of bounce back himself as well. And before we head into the avails, I know it's St. Patrick's Day. It's March 17th, and you'll notice I have no green on. That's because I did truly try my best to look for an article of clothing, whether it be a shirt, a tie, even a pocket square or a blazer that had green. It simply came up short. Truthfully, I can't even believe that I don't have green in my wardrobe. So definitely something that I need to address now and moving forward. I don't even deserve a pinch. I deserve a punch. Seriously, I really got to get my act together on getting some color in my wardrobe. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all. Hope everyone enjoys and stays safe. We have a great game lined up tonight, 8 p.m. But first, let's head to the morning availability of head coach Dave Tippett.
Hi, Dave. Good morning. Just wanted to ask about the lineup changes. Is that good to go? Has he been cleared yet, or how are the other guys that were?
They're just going on the ice right now. We had a number of guys that didn't skate yesterday, and we'll revisit them after they skate this morning here. And so there's still a lot of question marks to finalize anything there.
And when it comes to what you're looking to see out of your group today, like I said, I thought you guys played a pretty good game. A couple of mistakes cost you. What are you looking for in the second game here of this series?
Yeah, the games are going to be close. They're playoff style games, and mistakes can usually dictate the outcome. So there's some things that we can do to hopefully pull some of those mistakes out of our game. We have to be, it's going to be a very competitive, tight game. So you have to recognize how you have to play in those games. We have to stay very connected as a group and make sure we're playing well together and finding a way to win. So there's some parts of that game the other night that were all right. There's some parts we want to take out, but ultimately it's a new game. You got to find a way to win.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Dave, we're not in Calgary, but is Kara Jujar out for tonight's game?
Yeah, he won't play tonight. He's going to skate this morning, I think, a little bit, but he's not cleared to play.
And with Turris, you mentioned yesterday he's been out for 7 days.
Yeah.
Does Cahoon become an option because he has played center if Kara can't play and Turris is not able to play yet because he's missed a week?
Yeah, Turris is out. He just got back on the ice first time yesterday, so he's not an option for us. And Cahoon would be an option. Shore is an option. We're looking at some different things there.
Thank you.
Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Dave, sorry if I missed this. Is Zach Kassian cleared? Is he going to play?
We'll see after the skate today, but if it was up to him, he would be raring to go. We need the doctors to clear him to play.
Okay. You look at last game, it was a fairly, chess match in the first period, and then the second period really opened up. You had a lot more shots in the slot. You had a lot more scoring chances off the rush. Were you happy with how much you created last game? And is it just more so about, not the big errors that led to goals against?
Well, you're obviously looking at a lot of the sport logic stats and that, which I look at all that stuff too, but there's parts of the game that you just recognize where we made mistakes that were, there's different kinds of mistakes. There's puck mistakes or structural mistakes. That there's some areas that we broke down a little bit, and they capitalized on that. And we had some chances. We didn't capitalize on as many as we'd like, and that's the way it goes sometimes. So it's there's parts of the game, like I say, that we need to clean up, but there's parts that we can continue to push forward, like we had there. So we looked at some tape last night as a team, and hopefully we'll come ready, and we're ready to play today. And like I say, it's going to be a tight game. You just got to find a way to win, whether that's maybe getting scoring at the right time, making sure you're not making the mistakes you are. That both teams are going to be competitive. So that's, you just got to find a way to win.
And if you look,
go ahead, Gregor.
Oh, sorry. If you look at your defense and Barry's out, is Bouchard someone you'd want to give a little bit of power play time, or would it just still be Darnell because he's played there much of the season?
Well, it would probably be default to Darnell just because he's played so much there. But Bush is a guy that's going to evolve into a role there that on our power play because of the offensive instincts he has. So, we'll see where it goes with Barry here tonight. But both Barry and Nurse have done a good job at it. Bush is coming. He's a young player that's going to come, and that will be part of his role, at some point. But right now, if Barry can't play tonight, Nurse would probably be the first option just because he's familiar with what's going on there.
Matheson.
Dave, can you talk to Ethan Bear's play this season? Last year, he was so tremendous as a rookie. This year, I think the concussion kind of put him back a bit. But coming back from the concussion, do you see the same Ethan Bear, or is he a young defenseman that's still learning the trade?
You know what? He struggled early in camp, and then started to get his game started to come a little bit, and then he got hurt. And when he got back after the injury, took him 3 or 4 games to get up and going. And lately, he's been better. Like, he's a player we need to get up and going. He needs to play quality minutes for us. We know if we didn't know that it was in him, then you'd second guess it. But he showed last year he can be a real solid right side D, and kind of an in-betweener, can move the puck, but yet can defend very well, and he's a good penalty killer. So he's had some ups and downs this year. We're trying to push him into the areas where his game can get back up and running at a top level. And if he does that, he can really help our team be a better team.
You mentioned in between. I guess when you've got Larsson, who's a shutdown guy and is tough, really tough physically to play against, and Barry's an offensive defenseman. Is that what you mean by in between?
He's a middleman. He covers a lot of area. He can play a second power play. He can kill penalties, but he can move the puck also. And he's a smart player, but he's had some ups and downs this year to get his game up to full speed.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
I don't know if I missed this or not. Is Smith playing goal tonight for you, Dave?
Spec, you must have the day off yesterday. I announced that one yesterday.
Well, yeah, I did have the day off yesterday.
There you go. All right. Nice to see you take the whole day off.
Yeah, thank you.
Probably the only guy in the hockey world that does.
I know there's not many. I get it. Adam Larsson, every good team I've ever seen and covered and watched has like that defenseman. If it's Brooks Orpik or Rob Scuderi or Matty Nordstrom or like Jarmelson. Yeah. Is he that guy for you? Is he that hard defending, component?
Yeah, he's really played well for us this year in that role, exactly like you're describing. Just a steady, do a lot of things right in the guts of a game. And this is as well as I've seen him play. Last year he was up and down a little bit, but this year he's played really strong for us all year. We've changed his partner there. He's had Lagesson, he's had Russell, he's had Jones a little bit, and he's been a real steady guy for us. So I really I like the way he's played, and he's got a good leadership mindset to him too. He's a strong leader on our team, not a real vocal leader, but a real strong leader. He's been solid for us this year.
Terry Jones, Post Media.
Your third stringer recently acquired waiver goalie is ready to come out of quarantine now. Can you let us know what your plan would be?
Well, he's skated on his own a little bit here, so he's still a week away, and he's got to get some practice in. He missed a lot of time, so he might be ready to get around our team. I think it's as of tomorrow he can do that, but he still needs some time to get up and running here. So I'm not, I know him from the past. I know a little bit of his history and what he's done in the league, but until you get to see him up at close, it's, I don't have a great read on him yet.
Is he likely to go on the road trip, the following road trip?
I would say probably if he gets up to speed, that'll be up to Schwartzy and, get him through some practices and see where he's at conditioning wise.
Is it your expectation to see him in a game in the next 3 weeks or so?
Well, we'll see where that goes. We've got both our guys up and playing right now, so we'll see where that goes.
Jason Gregor.
Dave, obviously with the injury to Kehrer last game, it kind of changed the lines a little bit. But with having 4 centers tonight, is your plan to separate McDavid and Draisaitl, or do you like them to stay together to start?
We'll see. I want to see where we are injury-wise here first before we make that decision.
Calgary Flames last game, given that they now have Sutter behind the bench?
Well, I think that just their level of desperation, their sense of urgency. They put a lot of pucks in, dumping a lot of pucks. Overall, I thought they played a very solid game. I like the way we kind of hung in there and battled back, and obviously just short at the end.
And I guess we don't know the lineup for sure, but there's a possibility Barry wouldn't be able to play, and then maybe Bush would come in. I mean, you've known Bush for a couple of seasons now, and he's been around the team all of this year. What do you see sort of in his development and trajectory here?
Well, first and foremost, he's a great kid. He's done everything. I guess the organization's asked of him. I think. He's looked good when he's played. I think defensemen are different. They take however long they take, and some can step in right away and be dominant. Some take a little bit longer, and but I've liked what I've seen from Bush when he's played, and we'll see.
Eric Van Diest, Post Media.
Hey, Connor, we're at the halfway mark of obviously a unique season where you didn't have any preseason games and you kind of jumped into basically playoff intensity hockey, playing all divisional opponents. I just want to ask you now that we're at the midway season, do you see that intensity even ramped up even further now? Are things getting, really when you talk about being in mid-season form, are you seeing that? And are these games now from now on going to be really, really intense games?
Yeah, I mean, you see how tight the division is, how quickly it tightens up. I think it's only going to get more intense. You're playing the same team each and every night. I think you're going to see that. This is the 5th or 6th time we've played Calgary already, so it's only going to get more intense from here on out.
There are no per se, nights off where you're playing an opponent further down in the standings or an opponent from another division that, the games don't mean 4 points. How mentally taxing has that been to be, can you have pedal to the metal from the beginning straight through here?
Yeah, it's definitely been, it's definitely a lot. And you can see it some nights, some teams just have it, and they have their legs and their jump, and some nights they just don't. You're going to get that throughout the season. So I think even more so in a condensed schedule, and as you mentioned, how taxing some of these games can be, both physically and mentally, just with how meaningful they all are.
Thanks, Ron.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
You're just saying you played Calgary all these times, Connor. Are you, some fans would say they like this thing where you're playing everybody 8, 9, 10 times, and others want to see Philadelphia come through town once in a while. What are your thoughts on so many games against so few teams?
Yeah, it was definitely fun at the beginning. But I think I think everyone would be ready to see someone else. I think that would be probably the consensus across the division. I can't speak for everyone, but I think it might be nice to play someone else at this point. But it's still fun to be part of these rivalries, to be building rivalries against other teams. And the previous question, just how meaningful all these games are. It's fun hockey to be a part of.
It's the game played the other night in Calgary was like a playoff game in that your side had boiled down to 3 or 4 mistakes, and Tip keeps saying, we made a couple mistakes and they came right into our net, and when we got a chance, we didn't put it in their net. Is this, it reminds of playoff hockey, right? We watch a whole game and then we sort of focus on 2 or 3 plays. Is that where we're at here? Is that where this team needs to improve? And I don't know if you can play the perfect game, but make less of those mistakes.
Obviously we're playing playoff hockey here. Everyone's playing for their playoff lives. I mean, we're halfway through the season, but only 20 some odd games left. So these points are valuable. You can't be making those mistakes that shoot yourself in the foot. At the other end, we need to capitalize on some of their mistakes. So although they didn't have many last game, so they're going to play a solid game, a tight checking game, and when we have those chances, we need to bear down.
Jack Michael, 630 Chad.
Do you find on the whole, Connor, that the team, when the last 2 games in particular, Vancouver and Calgary, when they lose, is it nothing to do with the effort and that your level of play is actually fairly close to a winning effort? You just didn't get one. In other words, do you feel like the last 2 games were necessarily bad games or ones that you just, didn't get the result you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you lose, it's not it's not great. You can't be disappointed with the effort in either of them. In Vancouver, it's just a point shot that goes in, and that's just the way it goes, and we can't find a way to tie it up. So, and then obviously the other night in Calgary, just they capitalized on a chance, and we weren't able to do the same. So that's the way it goes, and these type of tight checking games, and yeah.
And then the mental grind, just because of the COVID situation. I'm wondering, have you found in talking with some of your friends on American teams, are their experiences any different than the Canadian teams?
I think everyone's trying to do their part and keeping their teammates safe and they're keeping it out of the dressing room. So kind of ran rampant a little bit there early in the season, but I think everyone's done a good job of getting it back under control, and you haven't seen too many cases. So, I think everyone's trying to do their part. Whether or not it's different for other teams or not, I'm not sure, but I can only speak for the guys here in Edmonton, and I think everyone's been doing a great job and being mindful and trying to keep everyone else safe.
Jackie Spiegel, Sporting News.
Hey, Connor, this kind of relates to Derek and Mark's questions regarding how the season's been structured. Do you find it more difficult or hard or different this year because you're playing teams so many times in a row to kind of move past, a loss, let's say, or to gear up for another game because you're basically playing teams like 3 or 4 times in a row sometimes?
I would say it's coming off a loss, it's nice to play them again. I think a number of times throughout a normal 82-game season where a team comes in and plays you and it doesn't go your way, you want another crack at them right away. So I think you definitely get that opportunity this year. So it's that side of it's kind of nice. If we can find a way to get a win here tonight, it's almost like we came into Calgary and nothing really happened. Everyone walked away with 2 points and you move on. So, this is obviously a big one for us tonight.
Final question, Reiner Schog, TSN.
Yeah, Connor, and I hopped on a touch late, so sorry if you were sort of asked this already. The Flames are getting a nice bounce here with the new head coach. There's certain qualities in their game. They're grinding, they're working hard. How do you guys combat that? Like, what quality do you need to make sure you've got that matches a team that's playing this way?
You obviously have to match their compete. They're not making many mistakes, so we have to limit our mistakes and bear down on our chances when we get them. There was not a ton of chances that went on last game, and we have to bear down when we have ours and make them pay.
And that would be something Nugent Hopkins said a couple of weeks ago. He said, for the most part this year, he feels like even in the losing efforts, the club's play doesn't seem to drop. And I'm wondering whether you've seen any evidence of that as the team's goaltender.
Yeah, for sure. I think, as the season's gone on here, I think even in the losing efforts, we've been in games, we've been in 1-goal games that, a bounce here or there, a mistake out of the game could go either way. So I think that's what you want to be as a team. You want to be a team that on any given night can, have a chance to win games and get points. And we'll continue to improve on that. But it's something that is obviously prevalent this year, from past years here.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Okay, so as a guy who's played the puck as frequently and often as you in your life. You've no doubt made some mistakes and it's been in your net. That's just part of the deal. We all get that. And the ratio, certainly this year, has been outstanding for you. How do you deal with when it does go wrong? Is there, what do you do when it hops over your stick like it did the other night and ends up in your net? What happens with Mike Smith?
Move on. It's over and done with. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's short memory and get back out there and play it again. And mistakes are going to happen. Obviously, as a goalie, you don't want it to happen, very frequently. But like you mentioned, as much as I'm out there playing it, from time to time, it's going to take a weird bounce like it did the other night and not come back out and kind of end up in the back of the net, which, you never like to give up those goals. But you just move on and get back out there and continue to do what's which I feel like has given our team, some relief back there.
I think one of the weird dynamics is when you go to play the puck, your defensemen spread out and move away from you. That's how it works, right? So you got passing targets. But when it goes wrong, now they're nowhere close to you. You're all alone. It's doubly dangerous that way. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right, Spec? It goes in an area I can't play it in, so you either take a penalty or you try and do what you can to get back in the net, and unfortunately it didn't go our way the other night, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I do. I mean, I think it's a big part of my game. It's something that I feel like every defenseman that I've played with enjoys, and I'm not going to stop because one goal went in. So we'll leave it at that.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Mike, you played in Calgary. Do you find that Calgary plays you any differently as a goaltender in terms of the forecheck than other teams because they've seen you on their own team?
I don't think so. I mean, they've had a coaching change. Obviously, some structures change is different, but I think I've been around long enough now. I think most teams know kind of what to expect back there, but I'm just trying to, get back, play it as quickly as possible, and just kind of relieve the pressure that they're throwing at us. So I don't know if it might give away a couple of my secrets, but I think it's every year is different, every game is kind of different. So you just kind of go about it the same way every game, and whatever happens in the past is over, and you kind of move on.
And also, the Oilers are the only team in the league that hasn't had a game, a loser point or whatever. That must have a bearing because the Oilers either win the game or lose the game, and nobody else is getting any points. Is that ever talked about? You guys just win the games, and if you go to overtime, you won the game and won in overtime as well. So nobody else is getting any points when you play the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially with this year, obviously with the division being so close and playing teams so many times. Obviously, those games when you can steal 2 points in regulation is huge, and it goes the other way also. We've lost some games that we feel like we probably should have had points in too. So I think it goes hand in hand. But obviously, winning in regulation is something that you can separate yourself from the pack a little bit, and I don't think it's something we've talked about, but it's something that you just kind of have in the back of your mind.
Reiner Schrog, TSN.
Mike, I wonder if getting back in right away, coming off of a loss is like, as a goalie, if you kind of appreciate that. I mean, you got two guys that the coach wants to keep going, but he goes back to you, and not suggesting that it was your fault in any way the other night. The idea that you get the opportunity to get right in right away and bounce back, if that is meaningful to you.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm taking it one game at a time. And is it nice to kind of get in a little bit of a rhythm? Yes, but there's so many games, there's so many games in a short period of time. Both guys are going to play games. So I think it's, we're back to back now tomorrow. Not that I'm looking that far ahead, but I'm just really focused this year on taking it one game at a time and let the play speak for itself, and, let the coaches do their job and mine, and whatever happens and you get the start, you want to, play your best. And I feel like that's kind of what's made me successful this year and helped the team kind of get points, and just really, really focused on doing my job and letting everything else take care of itself.
The Battle of Alberta, the last couple of years here, it's had a fair amount of, spice to it. You add a Sutter to the mix, that's probably going to increase that quotient a bit. They're getting a nice little bounce here with their new head coach. What are your thoughts on kind of the game that a coach like Sutter will bring out in this group, and what your group needs to be prepared for to match that?
Yeah, I mean, the personnel hasn't changed over there as far as players, so I think they're the same team as far as players. I think they're just playing with a little more structure, probably a little more simple, a little more direct, and a little more north-south. So I think, saying that, we understand where we're at. We understand the position that they're in, and with the new coach obviously coming in, you're going to get a little bit of a boost. So I think we feel like we played an okay game last game, and we were still right there in the end. And I feel like if we bring our A game tonight, then hopefully it'll be a different story.
And there were head coach Dave Tippett, captain Connor McDavid, and goaltender Mike Smith. Mike Smith getting an opportunity to bounce back after allowing 4 goals on 27 shots just 2 nights ago against Calgary. So it's game number 3 of this 3-game road trip, and the Oilers still in search of their first win after dropping back-to-back 1-goal games. We'll see how they fare. This is game 1 of a back-to-back for the Oilers. They return home tomorrow and take on the Winnipeg Jets. So, of course, the Oilers looking to start this back-to-back off on the right foot on Wednesday night hockey. So for my producer, Brock Boot, I'm Tony Barr signing off. Thank you so much for making us a part of your afternoon, and we'll see you tonight after tonight's action.
Edmonton!